Try Again Dev. Today we're going to try our best to write quicksort. So if you're new here, Try Again Dev is telling people and myself that we don't just start off by knowing how to do things. We often have to try again until we get it. That totally also relates to writing code. So yeah, let's see if we can get stuff to compile. And if you're joining, thanks for doing so. So that way I have some external accountability for the things I'm trying to do. Okay, so yeah, in the last episode, if you will, we looked at merge sort. Oh, is this, did they say they wanted a particular solution here? Guess not, but I don't know. So LeetCode, quicksort. I just, I don't know if it exists, so let's see. Okay, guess not. Cool. All right. So I wonder if it has submissions. Not exactly a LeetCode expert, so we're all learning together. How do we? Oh, maybe I didn't submit it earlier. Just ran it. That sounds like me. Oh no. Okay, well, that sucks. But maybe it'll stay in my submissions history. Okay, great. That's really all I needed here. So, okay, so here's the problem, sort an array. Given an array of integers, num, sort the array in ascending order and return it without any built-ins, preferably in O log n time complexity with the smallest space complexity possible. So similar to merge sort, quicksort also is gonna take up some space in the stack, O or n log n. And the reason this n log n is because we have to cycle through or like touch every item in the array. And also since we're breaking the array in half every time and like sorting those bits, it like decrements exponential, like an exponential decay chart, which is that log n that's being referred to. So yeah, it's like we're going through every item, which is n, and then for every item, we're like decrementing that exponential decay type way. So this is log n. That's that time complexity. Maybe there's better explanations out there, but anyway. So in merge sort, if you want to see that very slow implementation by me, check out that video. Today we're going to try to do quicksort. Okay, so my understanding of quicksort is that like say we have this array with 5 things, 1, 5, 4, 2, 3, right? Array. What's gonna happen is we're gonna pick the last item here. We're gonna create 2 arrays. This is gonna be like less than, and then we'll have this array of things that are greater than, and this item is called our pivot. And this is greater than, and like in this case, in order, we'll have the 1 and 2. And then in this case, we'll have 5, 4. So then I'm wondering what our checker is going to be, but I guess it doesn't really matter at this moment. Anyway, well, also if we do it recursively, I guess you could pass the whole thing in. I'm just wondering, like, sometimes, okay. I'm kind of in 2 minds here. The first is, of course, we're going to do it recursively. Let me do that first. So let me write down recurse. And the second is like the check. So like if we had like, if like for every item, like the items before are less than, like I minus 1 less than I, then we can like return the array. we, like, that's one of those little potential efficiencies, but it could also be a potential deficiency if we go through the entirety of the array to find that it's not, like only the last two items are switched or something like that. But yeah, anyway, we can come back to that when we're writing the function. So yeah, then we'd write quicksort of like the less than array, then, or I guess it could be an array of arrays where we do this like args thing. And then we could do pivot and then dot 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 quicksort QKS here, and then of the greater than array. And recursively, this should work. In the merge sort episode, if you watched it, like this syntax or understanding the passing in of the functions to the same function or the other function is where I got stuck. But yeah, so like pretty much what we're gonna do is like take in the top value. There are great people who do math and say like if this is a fully random array, any value is likely to be just as middle as any other value. So yeah, we by picking the last value, like, hey, even here, 50% of cases, like, it's right, 50% of cases it's not. We'll get down to like one item, and then I guess as our like starter, if the array has one item or less, like 0 or 1 item, return. So if nums dot length is less than or equal to 1, return. And I think we'd return nums, like the array, if it's empty or if it has one thing in there. Yeah, because that way, like the one, if you think of it as like going down a stack, the one below would be an empty one and an array with a 5 in it. And so like by returning this 5, it'll put it in order, right? Because this would be the pivot value, and then the 5 would go in as this like greater than 4 value. And then it gets returned back up here, where like this one is less than this. So it would come down in this array. This array would be null, excuse me. And yeah, so then when we come back up here, this would be 1, 2 in this array. And then when we come back up from both those levels here, we'd have the 1, 2 array, which is the less than. We'd have the 3 array in the pivot section, and then 4, excuse me, 4, 5. Whew. This is practice, or this is showing demonstrably that actually practicing writing these things is like the best way to kind of start understanding them. Yeah, so let's try to write this in code. Okay, so I'm just gonna erase everything here that exists in this function and this function because we're writing something new. So this is going to be quicksort. So we said if nums.length is less than or equal to 1, then we return nums. Then we're going to let, what do we call it? We'll let less or less than equal this empty array. Excuse me. We're going to let greater than also equal an empty array. We're going to let pivot be last item, which is, oh, you know what I was just thinking about? Like, I'm wondering, which I should wonder out loud, because I'm here with you guys. Thank you for joining if you are here. What we should do with the values if they are less than or equal to our value that we're quicksorting, because I think that it was saying like the numbers don't have to necessarily be unique, right? So I mean, this could be less than or equal to. And this can be, yeah, the greater than would have to stay greater than. Yeah, that makes sense. Or, I mean, if something is equal to, maybe we could have like a pivot array where we just say like all the threes go here in this array. Yeah, we could do that. Because then the less than and greater than could be uniquely if the numbers are less or greater than whatever. So let pivot equal this empty array. Okay, so then okay, I think if we do the pop operation, like to take off the last item, it would like take it out of this array and save it as something else. So then we could say like let pivot equal the array of stack dot pop, like putting it into this array, and then and then this is that like going through every item in the array that we were talking about. And like I'm thinking like we could shift it, which is moving all the items out from the front, but technically in JavaScript that is a log or an O of n operation because you have to move everything else forward. But if we do for like let items in this array as our counter, then it would be easier for the program to do, if that makes sense. Anyway, we could perhaps run this array backwards to like minimally help our space complexity, but in JavaScript, so far as I understand, it's not really a big deal. So anyway, what we'll do is this is our function that's going to be sorting, or not sorting, but like moving items into the right arrays. Move items into the right arrays. And then finally, we're gonna return, and then this is gonna be an array of dot 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 everything in the less than, everything in the pivot array, and then everything in the greater than array. Okay. So let's see and then I know that there's a difference in like let item in whatever and let item of whatever, like an array, but I don't know it offhand, which I really, really should. And that's why I'm looking it up now, because one of the things I learned the other day, I always say for my old band teacher, practice makes progress, because that's what he used to say. But today, or recently in a guitar lesson from Justin Guitar, I heard practice makes permanent. So I'm like, I really want to learn this right instead of learning it wrong. Oh man. Let's see if I have it handy. If not, we're gonna definitely do like a Geeks for Geeks or something. So like for let item in array JavaScript. For in just through properties for in over arrays. Yeah, so for in does the values, and then for of does the, or excuse me, for in does the positions, and for of does the actual values. So we want the value of whatever's in the position. For let item of this array, so nums, like whatever's passed in. Oh yeah, and then for this, for all of these really, we need to run quicksort on the sub arrays that were given. Well, not the pivot array, because those values are just equal to our pivot value here, but Darn, I still did it on that one. It's okay, I'll erase it either or later, but or I do need this actually, but this needs to be quick, or this dot sort array. And on the pivot, we don't need it because it's just an array of the same value. So this is moving it to the correct arrays. Let's do that. Actually, I'm gonna store a pivot value here. So like, let pivot value equals stack.pop, and then maybe we can bring this down here and put pivot value into pivot. That makes it a little easier because then in here we can say if item equals pivot value, and then we could, oh, actually, you know what? I learned the other day that you can just do a lot of these things in one line, which is really cool. So let's do that. You still need your syntax to be correct though. So like if the item is equal to the pivot value, we'd say pivot dot push item. I wonder if we needed to do like stack.pop or something like that so that we remove it. No, I don't think so because actually this will like loop us through the array, so I don't think it really matters. And the values are stored in these other things, so it should be okay. If item is less than pivot value, we're gonna push it into the less than array. Less than dot push item. Then if item, oh wait, no, this is greater than, sorry. Okay, and then if the item is greater than pivot value, then we put it in the greater than array. Yeah. So let's see if this works. Oh, not stack. Whoops. Nums. Huh. It's weird that I thought of stacks, but sure. Or wait, no. Yeah, that's the right array that we're taking something from. Cool. Okay. This dot sort array. Okay, I guess because we're in this function, we don't need the this dot. Okay, so I guess we can say if not nums dot length, not nums, or yeah. Wow, it really does not like the fact that I'm trying to like take the last item from something. Yeah, it returns and removes and returns the last element. It's like of a stack. What about the arrays? Yeah, pop. If this dot is empty, return this dot items dot pop. Totally pop stuff. To the Google. JS array. Yeah. Wait, is it returning undefined? What's going on? Yeah, let's see if we can see what's happening before it's dying. So, oh yeah, we're definitely getting undefined. 5, 2, 3, 1, 5, and undefined, defined and 5. Getting undefined before 5. I'm like wondering what we're doing that we're getting this undefined as soon as we enter. But I wonder if it's running multiple times or something. Let's see how many times it runs by having this string that's just like a party string. Let's see if we see how many times it runs before it chokes. Okay, that is a bit better. So let's see. It's running 3 times. Something's going on with the left value, I think. So we have this, then we're passing it into 2 subarrays, hopefully one with 1 and 2. No, because it's undefined. If item equals pivot value. I'm still thinking it's this of thing. Let's see what it thinks item is. I think it might be in. Nope. Oh, this did not take it out of the function. That's weird. Oh, right, because it's saying, it's literally telling me it didn't take it out. Oh, wait. No, it did. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. I'm like, wanting now then to console log pivot value and nums to see what happened. Because, like, oops, thinking that could be the problem. Console log pivot value, and then console.log nums. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, so, right, yes, good. We have this and this, great, okay. So then, okay, so that is what we expect, that we took off the thing from there and, you know, whatever. So let's now, after this other thing, console less than. Oh, wait a minute, that less than array is nothing because nothing in this array is less than 1. Okay, great, that makes sense. But then that should be not nums and returning nothing. Okay, it shouldn't return nums back if it's nothing. Okay. So I think that instead of trying to combine these, this needed to be 2 different situations. Yeah, so if not nums, return. And that should hopefully help, at least, if not fix it. So let's see. Let's comment out these console logs so that we get a clear slate, and then, oh well, the console log item is happening still, but that's okay. Okay, let's see what's going on here. So that was item. Nums.pop is dot function. But it totally worked just now. 14, 25, 49. Okay, this is just returning the called stack where it's failing. But, It's like I'm thinking like, if like nums, then do nums.pop, but okay, you know what, here, let's do equals 1, not nums or nums dot length, or like nums equals the empty array or something like that, because I'm wondering if that's what's going on. Okay, so I'm not sure what's going on, and I'm gonna do a bit of research, but if I showed the research, I could get copyrighted, so please hold while I go find some information. Thank you. Okay, and we're back, proving once more that we don't just start knowing code. Alright, so a couple things that they did differently than we are. Quite a few actually. So first off, which shout out AlgoJS, I can't show their video or I might get copyrighted, so also thank you if you're viewing for your patience. Okay, I'm gonna take out some of these console logs so we just see our code a little clearer. They do instead of nums.pop is they do like array.length -1, which sure. They also don't like take it out of here, of the array, which I like, but like, sure, I guess with the recursion it doesn't really work. So let's try it like array at the value of array, or nums, not array, right? Yeah. Nums at the value of nums.length -1. And then let I equal 0. I is going to be less than, excuse me, pivot value is nums of I, nums.length -1. Okay, we're going to check everything except this thing, so I'm going to do nums.length -2, and then it's going to increment. And they also didn't have like the pivot value equals little array, but I'm like, I don't think that should break things. It might. If it continues to break things, we're going to try to converge ourselves on that solution. Item. Oh. Oh, I see. We could set this here, let item equals I, because that way it's just a little easier to read. Oh yeah, that's right. We can have this pivot array with a pivot value in there. Oh yeah, that's what's gonna come up then. Yeah, I was gonna say, or wait, pivot value. Did I spell this wrong? Yeah, I guess. Oh, right. Ooh, new error. Just curious here. Yeah, I think it's that type of thing. Instead of returning the nums array, I wonder if we just return. No. Okay, more research needed. Be right back. Okay, I just did another unsuccessful time troubleshooting, but as you can see, like I was muted, so sorry about that. I'm gonna have to do a bit more research though and come back anyway, so if you're here, thanks for watching. We don't just start off knowing how to do stuff later. Okay, we're back. There's a couple things I noticed that were different between me and shout out to AlgoJS. They're great. So I think that, well, for one thing, they do just bigger than 0. Bigger than or equal to 1 should be the same. So I'm not really gonna touch that unless I have to or feel like I have to for some reason. But even more importantly though, instead of it being ... less than, aka everything in the less than array, the way it's written, I think, is like ... like everything that comes as a result of running sort array on the less than side instead of everything from the sort array, or just everything from the less than thing, like, what is it, array? Yeah, so like I didn't get that because I'm kind of new to the whole writing these args functions thing. So let's try that on for size. Still undefined. Like, did it run this? Or that'd be the greater than array. No, though, because it didn't like give me the console log of the other function, right? Yeah. Like if we had, then it would have run this. Okay, so something is definitely still wrong with the way I'm calling these functions. Something else that I noticed though is that instead of having the pivot value array, they being algo.js, or wait, no, I still need this. They just do if it's less than the item, put in the less than array, or else put it in the other array. Which like I'm considering writing a ternary, but like I'm already so screwed right now. I'm just gonna not do that. So we're gonna turn into just pivot value. Still incorrect and still undefined. What is happening here? Like the first one is absolutely perfect, and then it's just not working. Something about these calls isn't working. So let me do what I see them doing. If greater than, okay, so then I guess this would be if less than is bigger than 0 in value, then we do that. And if greater than, or yeah, it's bigger than 0, or not the array but dot length for all of them. It could have just been that I had forgotten to do the dot lengths in these else ifs there. Nope. Oh, pivot value, that's right. God. Okay, thank you for joining. Just a live action proof of the fact that this doesn't always work. Oh god, what is this? Not nos to like why is this -2 in an array? What? For this, I'm gonna do like this is less than or equal to. There's always gonna be some weirdness in the test cases, but huh. Alright, I'm gonna take another research break and come back and maybe give this one more shot in a little while. See you then, folks! Okay, so if anyone is you're joining us, oops, that's AlgoJS, not trying to get copyrighted. I think that the problem was that I didn't have the dot dot dots here with sort array, so that is turning this into like having that array body there. So let's see if that was the problem. And like I did, you know, quote unquote unsimplify this with the numSci instead of item, just as I was like line for line troubleshooting, I guess if you could call comparing with someone else's code troubleshooting. But yeah, I think it's saying here that like for huge items it's like not working, and that's probably because the console logs. But let's try now. Oops. Let's see if that works. Did not succeed. Okay, one moment. Be right back. Okay, so sorry, I was just saying like that sorry, I was muted. This implementation of Quicksort seems to work. It doesn't work if you have literally 50,000 items in an array because your call stack exceeds. But yeah, I'm like, I understand this implementation and I think it looks good to me. But I'm just wondering, like, this is that thing I was saying earlier of like, what if you had a huge array and it was already sorted? Like, could we just check? Yeah, you know what we could? We could say here, how do they do this? Var, okay, var quicksort, and have it taken from an array of numbers, nums. Well, it needs to equal function. Okay. This is weird. Not sure. Var so maybe quicksort equals function nums. This could be in here. And we could do a like for let I equals this is needed here too. And if I equals 0, I instead of something I is plus. And if just gonna start at 1. If nums I greater than nums this one, then continue to the next one. And if number quicksort and like else be here. If everything is in order, we return those. Just returning the array I'm getting. write this without this continued situation here. So like if nums, if the value at like the lower number is bigger than the value at the higher number, so that's because here I'm calling sort array instead of quick sort. Sort. Yeah. Oh, I wonder why I didn't say that this isn't the syntax. That var thing means that it's like written in some different language or something. Let's put this here. Because usually what I would do is like function quicksort nums equals so on and so forth. Yeah, I'm not sure why this isn't working fully for the submission case. Well, I do like understand the theory of why it isn't working. It's because it's flooding the stack. But like this implementation does work for like reasonably sized inputs. So I will be doing some research, but I will otherwise, I wonder why I flagged on that one and not often. Will otherwise be calling this a day. So thank you for joining if you have joined. And yeah, we don't just we're not born knowing how to do stuff like this as developers, I'll sure tell you that. So yeah. Have a good day. Thank you for joining. Bye. Till next time. Don't forget to try again. And like try, adjust, make adjustments, make progress, try again.